In this video, I'll basically review the new Philips extra large air fryer. It's the one in the middle, but this image right here is just to show you how the size compares. Right, I have a 64 fluid ounce splash on the one side bottle, and then the fryer, the older Philips digital fryer that I've had for many years, is on the right, and the new one is on the left side. The biggest differences between these two is the black one is smaller, it's also digital. The white one is analog and it's larger. That's one of the differences. The other is just here on my older one, the whole tray comes out and you have to find some place to set it. I mean, I wouldn't be setting it on my counter right here, but you have to set it somewhere and then lift it up and then dump out your food. You could dump the whole thing out, but if there's oil and other things, you would not. One big improvement in the new one is that when you pull it out, it actually has, it's built into a tray, so you don't have to find another surface, and then you would pick up the basket and dump out your food. Size also, there's a big difference between the sizes. This is the extra large, which I believe I'll have to look up, and I'll put it in the notes. I can't remember exactly the same size, but it can hold a lot more. And I love my old black one here, and we've used it a ton of times, but the smaller basket definitely holds less. And so I'm really looking forward to having a larger basket and be able to cook more food. Another difference is that this pan has kind of an insert, so the oil will be caught down at the bottom and it will seep through here, whereas my older one doesn't have that extra piece. The oil and stuff just goes down to the bottom. Next, I'm going to be putting in the food that I'm going to be cooking. In this case, it's orange chicken. Now, once in a while, what I'll do, I mean, I can just pour it in here, but if there's little pieces in, and sometimes there's little crumbs and other stuff, so I'll actually take the basket out, all right, and dump it in over the sink or something so those little crumbs don't fall into the bottom of the basket. I found that when they do, then they start to burn or give off smoke. All right, so I'm going to just put this over the sink and dump in the orange chicken, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm only going to be cooking one packet of this, so you can see how much room there would be for more ingredients here. There is also a max limit up here on how high you can put food. All right, so I'm going to be putting that in, closing it up. Next, I'm going to be setting the temperature with this gauge right here, and the highest is 400. On my other one it was 390, and most of the time I left it at 390. Now, if you're when I first started using an air fryer, this was always the most challenging. Not so much the temperature, but how much time, because this goes much faster than an oven would go. All right, so for this orange chicken it says 425, but 400 will be fine. And the time actually for this chicken says 14 to 18 minutes, or maybe a little bit longer than that. I should double check it. But I'm going to put it on 12 minutes. And for this dial then, I'll just turn it to 12. I can hear the fan go on, and it's probably hard to see, but the little green light has also gone on, and basically that just means that I believe that it's just preheating. All right, but you can put everything in right now. The heating up light goes on. It says during the heating up, the light goes on from time to time. This indicates that the appliance is heating up to the right temperature. All right, so then I'll stop, and halfway through I'm going to pull things out. I'm going to pull the basket out and just shake the basket to shift things, and then I'll continue. Okay, I'm about halfway through the time, and what I do then is just take out this and then just shake it around. Once in a while, if it's something larger, I will flip it over, but something like this or fries, I just shake. Put it back in, close it up, and continue. Over the years, I found that the air fryer needs about 2/3 to maybe 3/4 of the time to cook than the directions would say if you bake it in an oven. All right, so I pulled this out a little bit ago, and they look done on that. So I'm just going to take them out and pour things out. And I could have turned it off first, but I'm just going to turn it off, which is just pushing it harder. It's harder to turn it counterclockwise to turn it off, but there it went off. If I had left it for the full time, there would have been a bell, and you probably heard that, you may have heard it in the video, a bell that signals that it's turned off. Right. Again, I've been using air fryers now for probably 7 or 8 years. And early on, I had company over, and it wasn't large enough, so it was actually breaded shrimp. So I put half of them in the oven, and then the other half in the fryer. And it was a great comparison because the ones done in the fryer were so much better than the oven. So I've never baked anything like that in the oven again. And one thing that's really nice about this larger capacity one is how much it will fit.